Alright, welcome everyone. My name is Paula Phillips, also known as JournalArtista, and it's Saturday night. So I truly appreciate you all being here. I'm a little bit tired. I had a full day at work today in a wonderful electrical safety course. It's a little tired, but we're going to push through. So I've already coated my page with gesso and dried it. So we're just going to get started. Except I don't really know what I'm going to do now. So what do I do when I don't know what I'm going to do? I guess that's what this show is going to be about. So what I can do is just look at my little cart that's beside me and see what I got going on. I know just earlier during the pre-chat here I talked a little about pink. So I'm going to use some, this is Liquitex Basics in alizarin, I don't know how to pronounce that, Crimson Hue Permanent, alizarin. Okay, so here's a little bit. And because I haven't scraped in a while, paint around, if you've noticed or not, I can really tell I haven't scraped in a while because I cannot find my, here we go, my credit card. Sherry needs some more paint. So really I've essentially picked up the paint onto the card and then moved it around. No thought. I'm not putting barely any thought to where I'm putting this. So this is Liquitex Basics. Is a student grade paint. Try to make some areas a bit darker than others. And usually at this point I stop and I wipe it, right? But today I think we're gonna add, see what happens. I'm gonna add this craft paint in Americana bubblegum pink. Let's see, just a tiny bit to mix with it, and then we'll use it. So I didn't dry it, right? I kind of want the paint, this new paint, to mingle with the other, kind of combine in some places, kind of get a different color altogether. That craft paint's already dry over here. Can't move it around anymore. And you can do, a lot of people will put both of the colors together, you know, put it down on the page at the same time and then scrape them together. Alright, so if I think a piece of it, a part of it, I should say, is too, you know, this is too, it's Valentine's colors. Yeah, thanks, Janet. Thanks, Janet, for reminding me. I'm like, I don't want to do anything Valentine's Day. Oh, let's grab the pink. So this is a baby wipe that I'm using, a brand new one. So at this point, what I just did is blended it. I move the paint around to the outer edges of the paper to completely cover it. What a disaster I got going on over here. And then once how I like it like how it's blended, right? Then I'll turn my baby wipe to a clean spot, and then that's where I'll just wipe a little bit off here and there. You like that one, Julie? Oh yeah, I had to. When I saw Simon holding baby Asha, and then Bella jumping up behind him and start uh, licking the back of his head, his ear. I just had to take a picture. That's so bad, eh? I should be telling her to get down. Stop. And I'm like, oh, where's the camera? So just wiping a little bit off, moving my baby wipe around. Um, in some spots where it's been a while, right? Some spots I go right down to the gesso. Just means you gotta rub a little bit harder. You see that? Margot, it's funny because um, I was thinking about that today. For some reason, as soon as we got Bella, uh, I started calling Ash a baby and Annie and Bella. I just got all mixed up. I never did that. I hadn't done it before with my other pets, but all of a sudden I get them all mixed up. Alright, let's see. I'm okay with that as a start. What do you guys think? I might add this side, after adding all that craft paint and blending it around. I don't see much of that burgundy, the alizarin, as whatever how you pronounce that. I don't see it as much. I see it over here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. No, no shower scene. It's a joke. It's a chihuahua. Yeah, Bella is my new chihuahua and a pug. Chihuahua pug mix. I have a new video up, Janet, on YouTube of them together. She done. Hey, Karen. Hey, I'm gonna do it. Not journal in the shower. I'm gonna dunk my journal in water, but I have to get a big tub. Alright, so what I'm going to do is add a little bit of gesso here and there, I think. Oh, sardines. Oh, man. Smelly. Someone in the chat, by the way, if you're watching the recording, just said that she gave their cats some sardines. So that's all I reacted to. Robin, I don't allow links on my stream. Welcome, by the way. But yeah, so that was censored. Carrie will put it up there in a second. If you haven't checked me out on YouTube, definitely do that. I'm JournalArtista over there. I've got a quick video. It's mostly it's mostly art stuff. I just have, 2 or 3 videos of the dogs. Hey, Darcy. So this is just a little bit of gesso. I'll have to do hearts, so just for Janet, she came and visited me today. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I know! I know. I said I wasn't going to do Valentine's, and, here's the hearts. But oh well. It's because I'm feeling it. I may say I don't want to do something, and then it gets in my head, and then that's where, excuse me, that's where the intent goes, so. So I hung this one off the page here, and then, I guess I'll just do the tail of one here. Just want to make sure I have a good, pretty good coat of it. Oh, my dogs. Yeah, my dogs are playing there in that video. Alright, I got lots of extra gesso here, so I'm going to put this off to the side for a second. And get out that journal I continue to work on with my leftovers. I don't like to, if you put something on your palette, you got a little bit left over. I don't like to waste it, so I always, usually, or in the past, I've liked to just kind of flip over a couple pages and spread something down. And then I decided, oh boy, it's been months now, that to use this mostly. So, Joyceage. Alright, back to this. Just looking for one. Okay, I'm gonna dry the gesso. Pika. I'm looking for a color of purple I want to use. I think I'm actually going to use this really dark dioxazine. Dioxazine. Their toys are bigger than they are. Yeah. You can buy the puppies all the toys you want, but the best thing that my puppies like anyways are socks. Oh my gosh, do they love socks. This is just craft paint, by the way, guys. They absolutely just like, oh man. Alright, so I'm getting a bigger brush. This time I'm going to put it down with a brush. Just pull it out of some water, and I'm using a baby wipe to kind of dry it off. fascia lining. The thing is right, dogs know your schedule, so she knows I'm home. And so now she's just like, why is she home and not down here with me? This is unacceptable. Alright, so just going all over with this paint. A little bit in the coil. Gotta work fast with this craft paint or else I won't be able to wipe it off, and then I'll have to keep this muddy mess I got going on. So moving it around here. I gotta get a fresh baby wipe because there's so much pink on the other one. So just catch on the chat for a second. Carrie, you took some Robaxacid? No, yeah. Well, I used to call it, I thought it was called Robaxacid. Robaxacid, yeah. It's that, you know, if you have a bad back. Muscle relaxers. Alright. So, you know, I always tell you guys about if you're going to use a baby wipe to wipe it off, there's so many different variables. How wet your baby wipe is, how clean your baby wipe is, how long your paint is dried, all the different types of paint are all a little bit different. So when I started wiping that off, I was wiping too much of it off at a time, so it's not dry enough yet. See, even then it's still a little bit, but I shall go with it. Using my finger to keep the spots where I do have gesso, where I put those hearts, clean. I don't want any purple paint on them, or very little, maybe a little bit at the edges. But see, maybe right here where it's darker is where I didn't remember. I had said that. Does it look blurry to you guys, or is it just so? But anyways, there's no gesso here, so the paint is sunk right in, which is why it's so dark. And really, you just work it until you have something that you're happy with. Oh yeah, excuse me for a second, guys. Yeah, that little checky box thing down there in the settings, especially because it's advanced settings, widescreen, film rate, smoothing. Yeah, it says high res. quite important. I'm going to dry between layers. Alright, raise your hand if you got the Pages magazine. Cloth, paper, or scissors. Anybody? Oh, where's my portfolio? Excuse me for a second. I don't have my portfolios here, so I'm going to use some really cheap oil pastels that are now out of the box. Oh, wonderful. These are the Reeves brand. So I'll show you live here the part of the technique that that I did on. Anyways, these are just regular oil, cheap Reeves brand oil pastels. So what I'm going to do, it doesn't matter with this technique really what color you use, but I'll use a dark purple just to. So I'm going to do, this is dry now. I dried it, didn't I? Yeah. And I'm going to draw some hearts. You know what? I won't do hearts. I'm going to do X's and O's. So here's what I'm going to do. Still working on the background here. This isn't finishing, you know, any of the finishing stuff. This is still background. Still important, even if when you're doing something like this, to hang them off the, you know, let them go off the page. And again, I have them touching different elements, right? So I'm making sure that all those places I did that, I touch that heart. Alright. So I'm going to take another color of paint here. So I've got pink. I think I'm going to put that dark color back over it. I don't think I am. Lots of times if I'm doing a final layer in art journaling, in my work, I like to, you know, the first color that we did we don't quite see anymore, or very small of it, so I like to bring back that color. Alright, so first I'm going to put it on my palette, which for me is just the Ranger Craft Mat. And find my handy dandy scraper again. Can you hear Asha? Oh. Does anyone see it? Night, Vicky. I just had it. I hate that. How is it possible? Oh, it's possible because my space is a disaster. That's exactly how it's possible. Okay, so I'm taking my scraper here. I'm gonna just scrape it around. I'm mostly, of course, scraping it over the X's and O's that I just put down. And I used, so that was Liquitex Basics again. So it definitely goes a lot further than your craft paint. So maybe I might have put a little bit too much paint, in fact. A little bit extra. A little bit extra paint there for my other journal here. Alright, so I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to wait a second on this. I don't know what stocking stuffer you guys are talking about. Alright, so I'm going to wipe a little bit of these parts off, but not where my X's and O's are, just around there, not where my... And I'm going to get a new baby wipe. Because I'm going to blast this with my heat gun for a bit, and it'll dry the paint around it. Alright, so I'm going to do one section kind of quickly at a time. So I got my wet baby wipe close by. Yeah, here's my electricity. I got my wet baby wipe. Oh, sweet goodness. I obviously learned nothing today. Heat gun. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is melt. I'm trying to melt the the oil pastel here. So as I melt the oil pastel just like that, I'm gonna wipe it off. Now depending, you can kind of see the resist there. So depending on the color, you know, and I was so worried about half looking at the chat, I completely wiped off everything around it, but you can still see a little bit. So heat it again. Take my baby wipe. And I like this because it's grungy. So sometimes you can see a little bit left of the focus. Hello. Why? Why won't you focus? Yeah, so see right here? You can see a little bit of the thing. So depending on how, oh sweet goodness. I don't know if it likes pink. How about an ink pad? Make an ink pad today. Alright. So again, I'm just creating a little bit more in the background. Alright. One more over here. And then wipe it off. So you do see a little bit of it And that's why I use, sometimes I'll use portfolios for that, and sometimes, and that's, you know, again, what I love about art journaling. I discovered this technique, again, a opportunity, because I put down some portfolio, Crayola portfolio, which is a water soluble oil pastel, and then heated it, and then I'm like, uh-oh, that's bad news. And I think the heating part of it is just makes it easy to come back off. It's not, you know, um, just, you know, it melts so that it's, I believe anyways, it's easier to come off. So this one, because it stayed a little bit longer. So that's a technique I shared in the first issue of Pages by Cloth Paper Scissors. If you haven't seen it, I don't have it with me. So check it out. It's on bookshelves now. And what I love about Pages, and this is now right set up to you guys, but what I love about that magazine is how diverse it is. It's not just, you know, I love Somerset Art Journaling magazine because it's all art journaling, but Pages has bookbinding. It has a whole bunch of different book arts, not just art journaling, even though there's an art journaling section. So definitely check it out. You can there's digital copies of it if you like the digital um, over on shop.clothpaperscissors.com. All right. So now that I did all that, I gotta put this, sorry guys, a little bit back to where I've got to the hearts that I originally put down. I can barely see anymore. Come on. What is going on tonight? Oh, hey Sharon. So I need to think of what I can do to have those stand out a bit more. And a lot of times when I'm doing this, I use what's around me. So I just brought out my really cheap Reeves. Hi Mo. Yes, this is the inaugural issue. No, that's not the right word. The premiere issue. So, but I think there's going to be more to come. But this is the first issue. Yes, inaugural. Oh my goodness. I continue to need to drink. You know, so I love my Keurig. You guys know that. I use it absolutely every single day. But I need to bring out the big guns tonight. There wasn't Keurig. Okay, so because I have my um, oil pastels around here, let's just use them. Why not? You got a Keurig glass? Do you like it, or how do you feel? Alright, so I'm going to take a purple one. So that color, I don't know if you guys could tell there, but that was pretty light. That was a light one. So I'm going to blend it in. Down with a little bit of, let's see, Prussian blue. Let's try that. Yes, Joyceage. What do you need? Do you need something? Yeah, yeah, I have the refillable cup too, Leslie. And I do use it probably, you know, every other time that I make a drink. But the first time was a complete fail. I didn't put when you have a Keurig and you get the refillable cup, you don't have to use any filters. It's got a little filter already inside, where, you know, it's washable. So I'm used to a coffee maker that has the washable filter. I have a regular coffee maker, right? So I cleaned it. I used it the first time, no problem, right? And then I cleaned it. I put it back in. I put the coffee in, but I forgot to put the cap on. coffee grounds everywhere. Absolutely. So, and then I turned it on. So I look down and it's like overfilled. So it's not coming out in the stream anymore. It's coming out the sides. You know, it was bad news, my friends. I'm still finding coffee grinds. I've tried. Oh, anyway, we won't go there. So I got a little bit of blue, and these are very cheap. I don't know if you can get any cheaper oil pastels than these, but so they're not as blendy as some of the, fancy dancy ones. But for this purpose, they're absolutely perfect. So I'll just do a little bit of a shading here. And what'll be fun too is that when I do some sprays on top of this, the sprays will resist this oil, so it'll be fun as well. Again, another reason I absolutely love art journaling, I'm able to play with all this media that I'm not too familiar with. For example, this is one of my Moleskine journals. Moleskine. Must be that. Yeah, these are all pastels rose. Hi, by the way. Just the Reeves brand. There's some other birdies. When I was watching the hummingbird cam, I tried. I'm looking for a specific page, guys. Oh, I think it's more in the back. Yeah. This is the first time I even tried oil pastels at all, ever. And, but I felt safe doing it in my art journal. And I think it was Leslie that inspired me to even try that. Now, faces, if I'm going to draw a face, it's going to be non-real looking. Karen thinks this looks like her. Right? And these ones were inspired for a Dee Dee. Dee Dee. Our wonderful friend Inkwell. So, but anyways, it doesn't, just try it, guys. Love that one. Alright. Thanks. There goes my Molly. Yeah, I'm just blending it with my finger here. Multi layers of acrylic and gesso, and I don't know how many. We used to count layers on my show. I don't know how many I've already done. 4 or 5. Boston. Been to Boston once. It was funny because we had to go to Boston for work, and my most important mission of the entire trip when we went down, because it was me and a coworker that had to drive. Well, he drove and I chauffeured or co-pilot, and I made him stop, the poor guy, at the Yankee Candle massive flagship store. This was on the way to back. The best part of Boston, I must say, we saved our money and went to see the Boston Bruins play, and so we were looking for Boston Gardens, and and this guy's a big hockey fan, and we passed by it a bunch of times because it was not called Boston Gardens anymore. It was called TD Bank North. So we sat beside, we had this nice seat, and we sat beside these guys, and they're, kind of making fun of us. Oh, you're Canadian, eh? Oh, you had to come down here to see some good hockey, And I just looked at him and I said, "It's called TD Gardens now." And I just looked at him and I said, "Do you know what TD stands for?" He just looked. I said, "Toronto Dominion." Get out of here! You're a Canadian. Canadian company. Anyway, it was a good time. Okay, so now it was a great time. We shared some beers and had a laugh, and it was a great game. And yeah, got lost in Boston. We went through this weird tunnel about 10 times. Okay, so what do you guys think? Maybe give you a little close up, I guess, because the Reds are hurting down here. And it won't even, for some reason, really focus. And then you can see when the X's are all. My favorite, when I travel the States for work, and I hope you guys don't mind these stories. I don't know if it's boring or whatever, but while I work, I like to. And I'm just getting a stamp over here. I'll talk a bit louder. We were in Milwaukee, Germantown, Wisconsin, so we were able to see a Milwaukee Bucks game, and it happened to be the Toronto Raptors playing them. So we were just, and the Milwaukee Bucks, they just got, that you guy or whatever it was. This was a few years ago, and they blew us out of the water, like by a 40-point lead or something. And they were teasing me, like all the people around were teasing me all over. But it was a great Milwaukee. It was a great atmosphere, even though they were beating us, and it was great people there for sure. So I'm gonna look just looking through some of my clear stamps here. Hey Barb. I like to go to the odd game, so it's always fun. You'd think that I'd have like a zillion stamps that are like hearts, right? Or something. I just don't have any that are necessarily unmounted. I hope you guys can't hear Asha crying. Seriously, how is it possible to have all those stamps and only one set that has hearts on it? I guess it's the set that was meant to be used. No, I'll use this one. Alright. This is the, I got it at, well, probably, I was in the States, probably, Joann's or something. I don't know the manufacturer anymore, I apologize. So I'm going to use some archival vermilion. We started with a layer of gesso, and then we did 2 different layers of pink, one kind of mixed together, wiping them off. We did a layer of painted on my gesso hearts. Then we did a layer of purple, and then we added the X's and O's, and then we added the first color of pink I put down, or red, which was alizarin, and alizarin. I don't know how to pronounce it. And then we add a little bit more. Then we wiped that off. Then I added some of the blue here. I think that's it. Yeah, Inka Dinka Do. That's exactly it. So somebody wanted to see some lips, so I do have some lips on this one. Oh boy, here she goes. Asha's got this bark, cry, howl, alizarin. So I said it right the first time then. So because this little block, right, how I normally mount it, I know we talked about it on the last show. There's the tape that I use if I'm using a mounted rubber. I just flip it over on the other side, and I can use my cling stamps. So this one has a rotation to it, so I just kind of don't necessarily want to have upside down lips. So this is archival ink. Now, because it's so close to the alizarin, crimson, it is actually vermilion, but you know, so it'll stand out somewhat, but at the same time not be too, you know, too pronounced like black would have been. Not saying I'm not going to use some black, but I'm still creating a background here. And it kind of looks kind of freaky, these lips. It reminds me, this is strange. It reminds me of all the conversations we were having on Wednesday about embossing. I was saying when I first got embossing powder, I was in my teenage, like 16 type thing, and I used to do the heat embossing over the stove with the powder, and then one time I thought I was really clever because I used lipstick. I was writing a letter to my boyfriend or something crazy, right? And I kissed the love note, the little note, and then put embossing powder on it and heated it up. Oh boy. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can even really see it. In real life, it actually, in person, it looks really, I really like it actually. I'll show that up close here in a second. So archival ink is permanent and waterproof, so therefore the next couple layers I'll put down, you'll still be able to kind of see they stand out, but they don't. I don't know what you guys see, but I'm not sure that my camera, because the glares and stuff, is really picking up the texture and how much depth this has. When I look at it in the camera, I just see kind of like a washed out, really bright version. Alright, so because, you know, they are permanent, but gotta make sure that they're dry before you put anything else on top of it. So I'm gonna just real quickly give this a little shot of heat. So one of my favorite tricks that I know you guys have seen me do before is use a glaze. I love to use the glaze. You know, I have a lot of, even though I did use some Liquitex basic student grade paint, I have craft paint on here, and when you add a layer of acrylic glaze that is artist grade, for some reason just warms everything up, and oh, it just looks awesome. So I'm actually going to use some quinacridone magenta. I think I'm going to mix it a little bit with this metallic copper glaze. These I bought. I'm not kidding, guys. We talked about this before. But I bought these when Beth Cody was doing altered books back in the early 2000s. So they're 10 years old, but they still work. They still work. So I'm gonna put sorry, just reading the chat real quick. Actually, I think let me just try some. I'm gonna just put the copper glaze right on it. This is made by Golden. You can buy it. I believe actually even Blue Moon has it in stock. The last time I saw it, anyways. Or, you know, before my wonderful, wonderful dear friend Les Herger from Comfortable Shoes Studio, like, freaks out, you can make your own. I always like to say that when I'm in an art store and I'm looking at glazes or fluid acrylics or whatnot, I have Les Herger on one, a little mini Les on my shoulder that says, "You can make that yourself. You can make that yourself. You don't need that." All right. I probably put way too much on, guys. After all that, I was having a little vision of a little Les Herger on my shoulder. I probably went too much on. Way too much. I'm gonna have to dip another journal in this. Alright, we're gonna wipe some of it off anyways, of course, so it'll absolutely all work out. But I am going to scrape some of this off, I think. Let's see if it'll come off in my journal. Hi Kat, thanks so much for coming. Actually, I have a video, a recording of that. It's actually labeled. It was, oh man, for sure over a year ago, a Ustream recording where I actually, where we go over some liquid glazing acrylic and you know, kind of go, okay, what happens if you do 1 and 1 or 1 and then 2 of this or whatnot. So I never really measure though, and that's why I say I like to buy these, because I know every time what's going to come out of it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? But anyway, it's room for it all. So again, taking my baby wipe, and making sure that I'm flipping it around, because there's a lot of glaze on here. And what happens is if you get so much glaze on your baby wipe, it's just going to transfer back off, right, on your page and cause it to look muddy. So kind of always have to make sure. Although maybe you want, right? When I did my first layer, I wanted it to move around. Oh, I don't know what Asha wants. I mean, she's been to the washroom, she's ate, she's drank, she's played for hours tonight. I'm not sure. Alright, I don't know if you'll necessarily be able to see where the glaze is or not. I don't know. What I should have done is showed you what one side looks like with the glaze and one side without the glaze. But absolutely, it just makes everything a little bit more brighter, a little bit more saturated. Alright, so my next layer, I've got this new stencil that's going to be released in a couple weeks of CHA. This is designed by the wonderful Karen Ellis, who is in the chat right now. It doesn't have a name, eh, Karen? Did you name it since? It's the heart one. The heart one. One of the new designs. Now this wasn't. I told Karen last night that I had a plan. Wasn't what I'm planning, but because it's heart, it absolutely fits, and it's got swirls. So I'm going to. I like the little bit of purple, so I'm actually going to spray this with purple. Now, hopefully, let's all again cross our fingers that. I got some wild plum. Oh, that might be nice. I wanted to maybe use a glimmer mist though. Imagine a glimmer mist. Purple Majesty. Let's see what this looks like. I'm not even sure if you'll be able to see that. Can't do. Doesn't hurt to try. Not saturating the whole stencil. So a little bit here, a little bit there. Lots of yummy goodness on this, of course. And this was, guys, this spray was really old. It's from the scrapbookingsociety.com, Purple Majesty. I've had it for a long time. I would be surprised if they're still in business. Not that they're a good company, just because it's been so long and so many companies, unfortunately, are not around anymore. So, this may look kind of to you, but as soon as I ink these edges black, you know, it's just gonna pop out. So I'm just waiting for it to dry. Could use my heat gun, I guess, eh? Heat gun. They are called, did I see something? What they were? Whimsical Hearts. So there's still a little bit of spots. There are still a little, oh my goodness. Still a few spots that are super saturated, so you can dab that off with a paper towel. Can you guys see that? I don't know. So let me just ink the edges. And this is just direct to paper with, this one happens to be a Stuart Superior Memories ink pad. But it's still a permanent black ink. And you don't have to ink the edges. That's just my, just what I like to do. I'm going to, let's see. I need a little bit of texture. I think I'm just going to take, I have this, I went to Cabela's. We don't have Cabela's in Canada. I went when I was in Minneapolis, and with one of my coworkers who's a big hunter, and I'm like, I need a bullet box, and he's like, for what? Like, to store my stamps. He thought I was crazy. So they fit really well in here if you have these type of alphabet stamps. They aren't, unless you put, because the bullet box is higher, I can't turn it on its side. Oh, see, so they pop out. It's almost double the size of the stamps, depending on what brand. So maybe if you put a little piece of foam or something, then they'd stay in there. But you could put 3 alphabets. So I'm going to take the X and the O. It's a bullet box. You see, Karen, we're Canadians. We don't quite get that. But literally, it was like 99 cents or something. Isn't that what you call them, guys? Like, they put bullets in them. I'm pretty sure. About out hunting. Yeah, they put bullets in them. But they fit these little square stamps perfectly. Anyway, I'm going to take my little X and O. See, little X and O. So instead of itty bitty backgrounds, maybe Canadian Tire, Karen? So I'm going to hold them together, and then I'm going to stamp it. Oh, my page is upside down. So, for texture, just a little bit of something I'm just going to stamp. Now you could stamp them separately if you want, but not. I'm just going to quickly stamp them. I think she stopped. Why am I whispering? Oh. I mean, and this ink goes over everything, right? Like, we've got oil pastel on here, spray, acrylics, glazes, gessos. I mean, just a ton of stuff. So when I don't know what to do, when I don't have an idea, this is how I create. I just, go with the flow, go with techniques that you know and love. There's nothing worse than trying, if you're not feeling the mojo, or if you're tired and you really want to do something creative, but you're just sitting in front of your paper. That's not a good time to try something new, because for me anyways, and I get all frustrated. So when I'm trying to get my mojo back, or I'm want to do something, that's when I'll go to techniques that I know and love. because I love scraping paint in backgrounds and wiping it off. That's what I do. And then that gets me in the mood to art, gets the juices flowing, and then I can go on to other things. Alright, just making sure my little guys are even there. Still need something. I feel like I need something. Alright, now we're talking about guns. Uh-oh, can't do it. I bet you Bass Pro. I mean, Cabela's is just like Bass Pro or something, right? So that's what Cabela's is like. Can't focus. It's the colors. It's just the colors. No, I know it's not. I think I just have to do the itty bitty background. I just can't not. That's the problem. It needs, let's see. Maybe if I can find a purple ink. It needs a Valentine's on it. Alright, look. My wonderful friend Laurel gave me an archival berry purple ink pad a while ago. And I got my, when I say itty bitty backgrounds, guys, this is an old Stampin' Up set that I love to use. You could use your bubble wrap, or lots of people. Sometimes I use shelf liner. Oh, poor Asha. It's not my favorite, but I like it. And I'll show you 1 second what that did. Just a little bit of, oh man, that's ugly. When I say that's ugly, I meant like the glare. I just see a crazy glare off that red. Of course, then the shadow. Oh, Ashes only because, yeah. Robin, you need to watch that video again. She would be all over this room. She's not quite trained. Oh man. It would be like Canada's Wonderland in here. Oh, for you guys that would be like Six Flags. Oh boy. No, I really like it. I gotta think though what I'm gonna go with it next. My art room, Karen? I just mean she would think it was Six Flags because there's so many things to get into, to jump on, to play with, to crawl under. That's what I mean by Six Flags. You know what I feel like? Like this page to me is just calling um, Tracy Bunker style complete stamping, painstakingly one by one journaling in black. Yeah, to pee on. Actually, Ash is pretty good. Oh no, No, Karen, I just said Six Flags because I'm not sure our American friends would know what Canada's Wonderland is. So anybody have any questions at this point? Asha, and I don't know if this is with all dogs. Like I said, this is my first, but she absolutely loves paper. Receipt, any little piece of paper she can get on her. She doesn't eat it, but she will rip it to complete shreds. Um, Absolutely, just goes crazy. Like, will fight you for it. Oil pastels to play. Well, the Reeves brand. That might be a good question for Les. The Reeves brand is really the cheapest and therefore barely blends at all. I'm just putting, guys. If you remember a couple shows ago, now a few months ago when we did one, little masking technique, I had some tape left over, so I was just adding it to that page while we're chatting here. Thanks, Sharon. I think oh, you don't use them often either. Like, when you say cheap oil pastels, you mean like Reeves cheap, or do you mean one, like, what would be one step up of oil pastels than Reeves? Little Cornell. I don't know much about oil pastels myself. Yeah, Faber-Castell probably has a good one, a good line. Do they make those, or they only make pencils? Lisa, you just gotta keep your eyes open, Dark, cause like I got these, and I had heard that Sennelier, if I pronounce that correctly, was, you know, the best ones. Yeah, and I got this, no kidding, at Michael's. They were on clearance for $5. For $5. I mean, now they came with only 6 colors. This was maybe a year ago. Anyways, I had 2 sets. I have 2 sets. These were iridescent, and the pictures of the faces that I showed you earlier on was the other, like, primary colors. Yeah. At the time, see, I didn't know. I just thought, oh, those are nice. It's only $5 on clearance. Uh-oh. Am I frozen? Oh, there we go. Yeah. Hey, Judy. So, because it came in such a nice box, I'm like, wow, look at this corrugate box. Oh, boy. Am I still frozen? No, just for a second there, yeah. So anyways, guys, I gotta call it a quick night because even though Ash has stopped crying, I'm extremely exhausted. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna work on it maybe tomorrow. I have something to write, but oh, there she goes. And I'll show you with the journaling how this background can change. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, guys. So good to see everybody. Thanks so much for the support and the love, well wishes. Joyceage, they got some texture there, look. And I'll see all you guys soon.